Right now, you are warm, and you did not even have to try. There is a number on your wall. If the air drops below it, a machine kicks on and fixes the problem before your body even registers a complaint. You are entirely blind to the cold, but strip away the insulation, the glass, and the gas lines running under your street, and you are left with a terrifying reality. If you were dropped into an ice age winter tonight, you would be dead before morning, and yet your ancestors survived temperatures that dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. They didn't just survive, they conquered the ice using a single weapon, a microscopic weapon that history classes completely ignore. It wasn't a spear, and it wasn't fire, and we will get to what it was in a moment. But first, you need to understand how close you came to never existing at all. You need to understand your own hardware. You are fundamentally a tropical primate. Your core temperature sits on a razor's edge, exactly at 37 degrees Celsius. Drop it to 35, and you begin shivering uncontrollably. Drop it to 33, and your coordination completely fails. Drop it below 28, and your heart simply stops. The window between alive and dead is less than 10 degrees. You have no thick fur, no blubber, and no ability to hibernate. On paper, the human species should have been the first thing to die in the ice. When the ice closed in, your body fought back using ancient triage, a very violent triage. First comes vasoconstriction. Your blood vessels tighten rapidly, sacrificing your fingers and toes to the cold, just to keep your heart pumping warm blood. Next comes the uncontrollable shivering, which burns through your stored calories at 5 times the normal resting rate. A shivering human is a human running out of fat, and a human who runs out of fat in the cold is a human who quickly dies. Your ancestors adapted by generating brown adipose tissue, a biological furnace around the neck and spine that burns energy to produce pure heat, producing pure heat without shivering. But even a biological furnace cannot save you at minus 30 degrees. You need an external solution. You need fire. But fire contains a fatal flaw. Fire is a controlled chemical reaction, and it is our oldest technology for managing winter. But fire is a trap. The moment you step 2 meters away from the flame, into a 30-kilometer-per-hour wind, the bitter cold reclaims you. To survive, early humans did something unique, something no other animal could do. They stole the warmth off other animals, and they put it right on themselves. They draped heavy animal skins over their shoulders, stealing bear hides in northern Europe, at least 300,000 years ago. But a draped skin is not clothing. A loose skin leaves dangerous gaps. Gaps at the arms, the chest, and the legs. A draped hide constantly leaks heat. And in a real ice age winter, a leak is an absolute death sentence. If you are wearing a blanket in a Siberian blizzard, the wind will strip the warm air away much faster than your body can replace it. Humanity was truly stuck. We could not leave the fires for long. We could not cross the deepest ice until roughly 50,000 years ago, when someone in a cave in Siberia engineered the single most important piece of survival technology in all of human history. It wasn't a weapon of war. It was this, the bone needle. Deep inside Denisova Cave in Siberia, someone took the hollow bone of a bird, they carefully polished it, and did something that required cognitive genius, a massive leap of cognitive genius. They drilled a tiny eye through the narrow end. This single, microscopic invention changed the entire trajectory of life on Earth. Why did it change everything? Because a needle means you can thread dried animal sinew. And if you can thread sinew, you can do something a draped skin can never do. You can actually close the seams. You are looking at the birth of tailoring. And it wasn't just for fashion. It was pure survival infrastructure. With the needle, your ancestors created fitted sleeves, sleeves that completely closed at the wrist. They built waterproof boots from deer hide. They turned fur inwards against the skin. locking a permanent layer of warm air against their bodies, a blanket resting on your shoulders, and a fitted coat that tightly closes, are two completely different realities. The bone needle allowed a hairless, tropical ape to carry its own personal microclimate into environments that were explicitly designed to kill them. And once they could survive the open ice, they finally stopped hiding in caves, and they started conquering the frozen landscape. At a site called Mežerich in modern-day Ukraine, exactly 15,000 years ago, there were simply no trees to build with. So your ancestors built massive houses out of the most dangerous animals on the planet. They arranged the jawbones, skulls, and femurs from up to 149 individual woolly mammoths per structure to create massive interlocking bone domes. They tightly stretched heavy hides over the top. They packed snow against the walls for insulation and built clever cold trap doorways. These forced heavy freezing air to sink, while the essential warmth stayed safely elevated. They were engineering advanced thermal architecture. Tens of thousands of years before the invention of the wheel, they rubbed animal fat, called tallow, onto their faces to perfectly seal their skin from the brutal wind. They carved thin slits into bone to wear over their eyes, inventing the very first functional sunglasses to prevent the bright glare of the snow from blinding them. Early modern humans had much better fitted clothing than the Neanderthals, giving our exact lineage the crucial thermal edge, the edge required to outlast the worst winters the planet had ever seen. We did not survive the Ice Age by being tougher. We survived it because we were the ultimate biological engineers. So the next time you complain about the walk to your warm car, or you feel a shiver and pull your fitted jacket a little tighter, remember what you are actually wearing. You are not just wearing simple fabric. You are wearing the echoes of a 50,000-year-old survival strategy. The seams on your very sleeves are the exact technology that kept your blood pumping, while giant predators and rival human species slowly froze to death in the dark. You survived the bitter cold. But the ice brought a second, more insidious killer, a threat that didn't attack the body, but actively tried to starve the human brain of its sanity. During the 16 hours of daily pitch-black darkness, how did humans survive when the mind itself turned against them? We'll decode that psychological glitch in the next one. Until then, stay warm.